All right, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. It is. Well, I think it's about like 7:40 p.m. Wednesday, September 13th, I believe. Is the 13th or the 14th? I can't even pull up. Anyway, so I slept over at my mom's house last night. I mean, obviously, you've seen yesterday's video, or a video I posted recently. And, more and more of this highly, well, I can't say highly, lowly vibrational energy I keep feeling from people. It's amazing because it's like, how do you become one of the most hated people in the entire city without ever having to like actually do anything to anyone? Rather all you did was literally just say, I don't like the idea that my spiritual energy has been hacked by, elitists and transhumanists. And their whole intention is to basically bait people into thinking that you're better off being transhumanized than remaining an original human. And it's a very interesting feeling when you live in a city with about 8 to 9 million people, and everywhere you go, someone's giving you that look like you're doing something to them. And it's wrong that you're doing what you're doing, because it's like, in September of 2020, all I asked was just to be left alone. When I realized there was people who basically were using technology to infiltrate my spiritual energy and then trying to intimidate me and threaten my life and all these different things, I'm thinking to myself, like, look, y'all could continue doing what y'all doing, because that's what I've always been. That's always been my energy for as long as I've lived in New York City. Is as long as you ain't messing with me, I ain't gotta know anything about what you doing. And that's always been my MO. I grew up in New York City. I grew up in hoods. I've traveled through all 5 boroughs and never had no problems with people. Now all of a sudden, they hack my spiritual energy. They hack my aura. They hack my soul. And then I find out, which I kind of probably always knew, that they're manipulating people's thoughts and how they perceive things in the world. And not only that, I also realized they're basically trafficking people through the digital world. So now I'm thinking to myself, like I said from the beginning, I don't really care what you're doing, just don't mess with me, right? But they don't care about that. In their mind, all they're thinking to themselves is, oh, you supposed to just go with it. You supposed to just take it. You're not supposed to tell nobody about it. But I'm like, what? I'm like, that's like a Catholic getting possessed by a demon and they telling themselves, I'm not going to seek a priest. I'm going to just let it happen. Like, what? So I'm thinking to myself, they mad at me because I don't accept the idea of hacking a person's spiritual energy and then telling them to be quiet about it. How you hack someone's spiritual energy and tell them to be quiet about it? It's funny how this guy just said, oh man, as soon as he walks by, right? So, and I'm like, my mother is from South Carolina. So she raised me with a whole totally different, totally different type of energy. Like, I am raised with totally different moral values. I'm raised with a totally different viewpoint on life in itself. It may be different from a lot of people, but you know what? It's honest. It's true. It's, for the most part, it's right. You know? And there's a lot of people that I know, that I grew up knowing, that's in the streets, but I ain't never judged them for what they did. I mean, as long as they not beating up on people that's struggling too, who ain't got no money, or as long as they ain't going around raping people or just killing innocent people, I ain't never judged nobody for what they did. But all of a sudden now, because I don't accept someone hacking my spiritual energy and then trying to manipulate me, all of a sudden I'm supposed to accept the fact that, oh, you don't realize it's a secret society. And I'm like, I don't care about all that. I just want it to be left alone. My family should have been left alone. But you know what? I feel like this is supposed to have been a choice. This should have been a choice. But they're taking away your choice. And you know what? Here's the thing. The World Economic Forum been working on this for decades. Or maybe not decades, but I know they've been working on this for decades. And to be honest, the concept of what they're doing has been going on for centuries. So it's not like it's something new. It's just that all the information and knowledge about what they're doing has just been suppressed. MK Ultra supposedly ended, in the late 70s? But it didn't end. It just basically went into a whole nother different type of, I guess, operation or whatever. Now, I pretty much understand that there's a lot of people making money off this system. Why? Because this is a very materialistic world, and when you have all of these radio frequencies and programs running through people's minds, telling them that you need this, you need that, when you actually don't need a lot of the things that you're probably feeling encouraged or influenced to get, now they're attacking my heart chakra. They're trying to see, they're trying to mess with my heart chakra, my solar plexus, and they're working against my lungs. So anyway, all I'm saying is, why does it have to be everybody? But then when you think about it, that's usually what corporations really do. They want to get everybody involved in consumerism. I've never really been that much of a consumer. I've never really been much of a consumer. I haven't been much of a consumer since I was really in my early 20s in high school. Not early 20s in high school, but early 20s and high school. I don't want people to think I got let back a whole bunch of times, but and it's so strange to me, because I'm like, this don't make no sense. All right, so something interesting just happened as I was coming to my bill. I said my building. So there was this family, and they had a lot of groceries, right? A lot of groceries, a lot of cases of water, a lot of food. And our elevator has been broke for probably maybe over a month now. And they lived on the 6th floor, and I saw all the waters and everything. They had at least about 6 cases of water. So, and they were the 40 pack at that. So in my mind, I'm like, sure, I deliver for I deliver groceries anyway. So I'm like, you know what? You need help? I can help you up the steps. So they was like, yeah. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna drop my bag off on the fourth floor. Then I'm gonna come back down and help y'all take this stuff up. Um, and I did it. I took 2 cases of water with me first. And then the second time I came back down, I took another case of water and like two other, medium weight things, and I brought it all the way up to the 6th floor. And I feel like they were very grateful. They were thankful. She said, "May God bless you." I was like, "Thank you, thank you." I need all the blessings I could get. Because with this whole targeting thing, they basically try to slander you and try to paint you to be this evil person or this bad person when most of them don't even realize their perception is being twisted in the most horrible way possible. And that's always been my MO since the day I was born. I've always been someone who is there to help people. I never intentionally try to hurt anyone. I never really have bad intentions in me. So when this whole thing happened with someone hacking my spiritual energy, my aura, and it's all just so that they can have power and control over people. Oh, we have your memory, so you might as well do what we tell you to do. No. That only works for people who are afraid for other people to know who they really are. That's where you lose power. When you have not been accountable for yourself and you are not, let's just say, you are not even honest with yourself. It's not even with just honest with other people. If you're not honest with yourself, of course someone is going to have all this power over you. Why? Because when you don't own up to who you are and the things you've done in life, of course, someone is always going to be able to hold something over your head. And me, I've done some things that I may, not necessarily be proud of myself about, but at the same time, I owned up to it. That's literally the only way people are basically being taken advantage of, is because people are afraid of having to take off their mask. People are afraid of, actually allowing people to see their heart on their sleeve. People are afraid of actually realizing this is what they meant in the Bible and in the Quran and the Torah when it says that when you are actually a person of God and you are supposed to be walking in faith, you have to be ready for the enemy to try to come at you with everything they got, and they're going to try to use things about you to try to make you go against the Creator. You can't make me feel bad about myself. Why? Because I already know myself. You might have went through my energy field and use all these different sensors around to extract the information and decode it, so now you can share it with a secret society. But in the end, you do not have power or control over me. Right now, they have all kinds of frequencies attacking my heart, and they're attacking my breathing, my respiratory system. They're attacking my like, they're literally messing with the circadian rhythm of my heart. And I'm not even really afraid of it at the end of the day, because they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. As people who worship the beast and everything that it can give them in this world, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. That's why I have to do exactly what I'm supposed to do. I have to keep being me and making sure that they understand that when someone says they only fear God and God alone, That's because you have to acknowledge the fact that death, even though it wasn't necessarily supposed to be a part of humanity, but the devil brought death into humanity. Humans weren't supposed to die, if you remember. Humans weren't supposed to die, but Satan brought death into humanity. So right now, all these people, they're basically using death as a tool and a weapon to induce fear. And I think one of the worst things people can do is willfully give over all of the power that they were born with because they're afraid to be met with death. You can't call yourself a person of God if you're afraid to meet God. How are you going to call yourself a person of God if you're afraid to meet God when God literally has it in stone, in black and white ink writing that in order for you to meet God, you have to die, right? But even in that sense, if you live the righteous life, if you tried your best to be the most honest and decent human being you could possibly be in this world, it should not matter what they do to you. It shouldn't matter. Why? Because no matter what, you are going to be blessed. Your soul is going to be blessed. And on top of that, no one knows the day, time, or place that they're finally going to take their last breath. And just remember the story of Job. In the book of Job, Job went through so much, and and God gave Satan all of the, God gave Satan the green light to do just about everything to Job. Destroyed us, killed his whole family, gave Job, sicknesses and illnesses. Satan did everything he could to Job to try to see if he can make Job hate God for all the things happening to him. But you know what happened in the end? Job still got blessed by God. Still got blessed by God. And he never turned against God. So, yeah, now all of a sudden they calm down with the hits to my heart, because at some point, as I'm going to continue to say, they will not have peace. In the book of Enoch, in the book of Enoch, Enoch was told that once you go down and you see those evil spirits, the evil spirits that came out of the Nephilim that now are working through the souls of many people on the earth, you are to say out loud to them, you will not have peace. You will not have peace. And every single one of your offsprings will not have peace because of you. Cursed be he who smiteth thy neighbor secretly. And all the people shall say amen. So, no matter what, wear your heart on your sleeve. Don't be afraid to be exactly who you know you are. Because at the end, if you're trying to hide anything, just know God already sees everything that you do. And if you're trying to hide everything, just remember, they got this technology out here already showing people what you've been doing in your life. So you might as well just be exactly who you know you are. Because it doesn't make no sense to give over power to your soul and your spirit because you are afraid to meet God. You got to remember, earth is not heaven. Earth isn't hell either. Earth is the observational experimental ground. It's the middle ground. Earth is literally the middle ground between everything of light and dark. You can't let someone convince you that if you do not curse God, let me rephrase that. You can't let someone convince you that living a lavish life on this earth is the best thing that you'll be able to have. Because there are millionaires including one billionaire, I believe, within the last 6 months, who are committing suicide. There are celebrities who make tons of money and they are struggling. They are struggling spiritually, mentally, breaking down, going into rehabs, all kinds of things. But yet there are so many people living in third world countries who don't even make as much money as I do. And yet they probably still have more peace than I do. It makes no sense at all why people would give away so much of their power to someone. Now they're like, oh, today I was low on funds because I know I paid out on some bills, and I think I probably had a little bit more fun with somebody or whatever. So I had to, there are times when, my girl and I, what I always tell her, my money is your money, So there are times where I help her out and she helps me out. And what they're doing is they're like, oh, Chris, everybody lost respect for you. He don't make no money. Da-da-da. And all they talk about is money. That's all they talk about. All they talk about is money this, money that. He doesn't have this amount of money. Oh, he's a broke ass nigga. That's all they care about is money. The love of money is the root to all evil. The love of money is the root to all evil. I pray that my words are like a hot sword. And I pray that God amplifies the power behind my words when I say this. Every single being on this planet that is taking part in this genocide of God's children, may you never have peace. May you never have peace, and may everything that you have stolen, God give it back to everyone you took it from. I pray that no matter how much people they kill, how much money they gain, they will never have peace. I pray that the very same beings who they probably don't realize they're worshiping and they're working for, I hope they swallow and consume every ounce of their energy and strip them of the very lives that they have, that they think they have. Because they really are at the point where they feel like they have nothing to fear. They're at the point where they feel like they have nothing to fear. Do you know how many civilizations were just as advanced as ours, if not more advanced? And they're all rubble. They're all dust. They're all buried in sand or dirt or whatever. Why do you think we have archaeologists? Archaeologists are the ones that's digging up all these ancient civilizations, all these ancient technologies and ancient texts and things like that. There's nothing new under this sun. Nothing is new under this sun. So let me repeat this once more. May every single person, every single being taking part in this genocide of God's children, may they never have peace. Take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.